So, as an still extension of my experiment, using this Wednesday as an wellness wisdom Wednesday to share idea about the energy, mostly non-physical, invisible energy. And once we become aware of that as an element, and then it is more easier to manage as the way we would like to, as the way it helpful for conscious creation of our wishes and goals. So that's the idea. And then since I have a knowledge about Japanese wording, and word is the key element to command our behavior, action, and thought is organized with the word. So, which wording languages that we use to think about really matters to our mind construction. So the mindset, and again, that we can reform and to rewire in the thought pattern once we become aware of that, which is we've been doing on Monday as a personal power reminder to choose the healthy way of thinking, scanning how we think as an everyday activity, and what can be rewiring or strengthen our healthy way of thinking, and that really reflect to other part of our beingness, such as on the physical bodies and healthy beingness, wellness. So in the Wednesday here, as an energy point of view, to share the way how we can relate to non-physical energy, sharing the idea from a culture that I grown up with, which is Japanese. If you are familiar with the word Reiki into a healing modality, that's one of the key. Reiki, key is about the energy. So using that particular word, this is the word ki, and combining with other word character, that is almost way to relate to this energy, or the way to observe the energy. And something that I realized that it's quite unique to Japanese. Even these characters are imported from China as a Mandarin. Um, I think that our ancestors, when imported from China, and combined with the original idea of what we think based in Japanese, then use these new character combined together to develop the unique way to use this newly arrived character back in long time ago. So that actually made Japanese people more confusing to use which is which and then what is what. But anyhow, so that's what it's probably unique to the culture who speaks Japanese languages. So maybe you can find a new idea to relate to the energy. And I'm a believer that everything is made of energy. And energy is energy. It's not a good energy, or there's no good energy or bad energy. Energy is energy. When you use the energy to light up the dark room and then create a brighter, space. And also you can use the same energy to plug into the chair to execute something horrible. um, so it's about how we're going to use up to the user, and you are the user of your own energy and something that you can do to use your personal power. And then also, so it's applied to each one of us. And then also we can combine our energy as a human gift to create something larger than what we can create by ourselves as a unity power. So that's how I see that energy and relatedness. So it's a positive energy, negative energy. There is both, and negative energy will show what's the positive energy, and then we can choose if there's only a positive energy, and then it's not going to happen. So it's a both in the end, and then we combine and create the harmony. And that applies to every single things and everything on earth. That's how I take. So just and then again, that to I would like you to believe in yourself and believe in what you believe. And please do not believe what you hear from what I'm saying. Just an idea. So take it as a new idea or information if it's new to you, and then to scan in, scan to your own belief system, and being open minded, and to expand and defining your way of healthy, way of thinking, and your way of a new way to managing something invisible. Mostly I am interested in invisible non-physical energy as an element. So today is a little by little. Each week I'm making progress, and then somehow challenged to take a break, and then I feel that it's all good. So this is the word character. It's the meaning of energy. So everything that contains this character, the combination with this character, is relation to something about the energy. And that applies to the Japanese word, though, not for Chinese. Um, the Chinese uses this word in completely different way. When I was studying Mandarin, and some particular character is used in completely different from what I'm familiar with, which is Japanese, and that actually makes us confusing more. But just enough. So this is only exclusive idea to a Japanese. So it could be hard for Mandarin speaker or Chinese people to understand how the way people in the Japanese community perceive, observe, and non-physical energy. And then if you are familiar with the Japanese community or the observing collective from the Western countries, and perhaps there isn't a key for you to your curiosity, like this is my own journey getting to know about where I came from since I was a child, and then became an adult mature in California. So it's like coming back to the root and question open forest, so to speak. Sometimes if you in a forest, it's very difficult to see it. But from the outside, you can take a look with the bird's eye to see what's in the forest. So that's my way of quest, and then sharing with you as an idea. So it's been said, and then I also observed that the culture actually caved with the word, also non-verbal art is also out there too. But mostly that the word language really influences the people's nature. And Japanese people are based in the observe culture, like observing and not expressing. That would make them difficult to speak other languages, and then especially English. It's like, you've got to express what you are thinking, but that is absolutely opposite. So as in a collective, people are just observing the air, means like energy, and then to decide what to say or what to do with that as a collective. So it's like a collective first type of culture is island people mentality. But anyhow, so that's the major difference. And then I realized that that is because of the way that language is identifying that non-physical energies, like it's empty, but there isn't a way to identify the energetic characteristics. So using that and then got to read it to respond to that situation or the person. And then from that English speaking community point of view to engaging into that type of dialoguing, it's like everybody is a psychic. Like you got to read first and then behave instead of like expressing what is like a pushing or pulling, observing and then act out. And then also that behavior sometimes being perceived as an busybody, it's like, I'm not asking you anything, but just people do that, kind of. So the word really influences our action. But anyhow, so this is the energy, and then that is completely different from a Chinese people. It's their philosophy is more the center of the universe. That's the way of center flower center is the self. That's a very self-centered type of mindset is the foundation of their way of communicating. So it's not good, but that's just a way to relate to. So just the energy is this is the character key, and Reiki. That pronunciation ki is from Japanese, and then if you're familiar with that qigong, qi, that's a Chinese way of relating to that energy. So the probably way of using the energy, relating to the energy is quite different. So that's what the idea is. And then I selected several combination with the energy word, and then I want to pick one word to share some ideas when it combined with the particular other word with our energy. What does that mean? And how that will help us become aware of something manageable energy, which is like related to our own beingness for the wellness. Okay, so today's pick is this. It's exactly the same as the last time I picked. So means that do it again, better way. Okay, key energy, and this is the word mochi. Mochi. It's the pronunciation. I just wrote it. Mochi. It sounds exactly like a mochi ice cream, but it's completely different meanings. So ki mochi is that mochi is hold, hold. This character itself is this portion is about hand, and then the right side portion is temple. That's actually interesting. I didn't pay attention until now, but holding temple means like a temple in hand means holding. something. So that's the meanings of this character, mochi. And then combining with the energy holding, how you're going to hold your energy. And personally, I feel this, how you're going to hold your energy in the seven energy center or energy chakra, if you say. And then I feel like it's a center, it's the sense of self, solar plexus, how you're going to hold the energy, the self esteem, decide, responsibility, sense of self, ego, healthy ego, that decision making to decide, willpower, it's the power of self. um, that's the energy center. Then how you gonna hold the energy in that energy center, solar plexus? So that's the um, today's again, kimochi, kimochi. So when we say kimochi is gross, not feeling well, it's about the feeling. If the physical illness is also how you're going to hold the energy is because of the physical illness, I feel sick. That's the holding the sick energy. Kimochi is bad because of the illness. So something about the physical discomfort, unhealthy physical um, situation, or also the emotion, the five human basic emotion: love, joy, fear, anger, and sadness. These are influencing to the sense of self. The kimochi is low, or low energy means lack of having energy, is feeling blue. That's how we're gonna hold that energy. And what we can do is to choose and change. The first, to become aware of what type of energy we are holding, and what is causing that feeling. Is that a physical discomfort, or emotional heaviness, or overwhelming, mind? Identifying, no need to engage in with that, but identifying what is causing that kimochi, holding energy, is the first step. And then to choose. So here's the kimochi. Okay, kimochi. And then also the feeling, and then the mind, physical or mental, emotional. Each element of our human beingness is influencing our kimochi, the how we want to hold our energy. um or holding energy is one way to say, and the other way is to have the energy. We have that energy to feel good, resonating to good feeling, healthy feeling, or healthy mindset, with a sense of openness, or sense of caring. And that's also the energy, and also how you're gonna have your energy. So the first energy center as a life survival, the basic need of our life, the first energy center is about the trust and safety, and feeling, being part of the unity, being part of the life on earth. That's the first energy center. And the kimochi is how you're going to hold the energy is the trusting life and trusting self. That's the healthy way of holding energy. And then a feeling belong to something like isolated feeling alone. That's the holding the energy or having the energy. When you notice it, just a reminding that we never be able to get along because we are interconnected at some level. So just a reminding that, and we are all the creature on earth. So that's the mutual fact. That's something that we can become aware and digest. Something trustable, I think. And uh, and then the safety, because it's really challenging to being the witness of what's happening on the part of Earth life. That some the basic life's safety is challenged some regions, and then got me think of that how fragile this precious life safety. We walked on that, the past ancestors, and then we are on the edge of this physical creation, and sometimes we forget about all this, that and then just complain about how complex the society is, and disconnecting seems like a endless. I mean, it's probably because we are changing all of the time, so we get to accept that. And then at the same time, these things can be destroyed the moment, and we so creating to make it better, ideally from the heart. um, so that trust of life, and at the same time belonging belonging to the family, friends, community, country. Sometimes it's very difficult to trust. But if that's the case in the crisis situation, the trusting that we still have the air, oxygen, and the Mother Earth is still connected under our feet. So, something that we can connect and reliable would help to have this kimochi, the energy. How you gonna hold the energy with the first energy center, color red, life on Earth, might be helpful if it's moving into unhealthy way. And then the creative sector, the color orange, the energy center, sacred energy, the water energy, emotions, joy, pleasure, creativity, to give birth to something. It's the creative power. That energy is creative feeling. To that requires a massive power to give birth to that. So that is also how we're going to hold the energy if we would like to boost in that one-on-one relationships and financial money and partnership, business, intimate relationship, that fragile, unbalanced to second energy center. It's a very insecure seeing. So to co-create with a significant partnership and give birth to something, that's the energy center with the pleasure and emotion. And the third energy center, it's really the kimochi, that how you're going to hold the energy. The way you hold the energy is located in the third energy center, I think. It's the solar plexus, the center of a physical being. It's the stomach to decide. And you have a stomach to do that, the feeding, sense of self, healthy ego, not unhealthy one though. So how are we going to hold that energy in the healthy way? It's a good to pay attention to self-esteem and overconfident and balancing it out as one, and then connecting to sense of self. So self-respect, confident, and then balancing, and to decide how you're going to hold that energy. And the fourth energy center, kimochi, is compassion, forgiveness, love, oneness. The heart connect that energy. And how are we going to hold that energy in connecting with others, to the world around us, with love, compassion, forgiveness? After all, we are all connected. It's not they, that's not he or she or him or you. It's all about us. It's part of us. And then something that what we can do, use our own power, is to change ourselves. That's one of the hardest lessons. It took me years to really, like, okay, we only can change ourselves, cannot change others. So that's a good reminder for me that so how we can change that to feel healthy, to compassionate, loving, caring. So that's the kimochi, how we're going to hold the energy in the fourth energy center. And then the throat chakra, the fifth energy center, is to express the self and communicate with others, the world around us. How are you going to hold the energy for that energy center is to truthful, authentic, communicate, authentic, communicate, truthful. This is like in conjunction with the other topic that I've been covering about the awareness sharing. I still want to go back to the part 2 about lie. About that lie. What makes people lie? What is it? Exactly. Because if there is no need, then probably there's not exist, but still exist means something. But personally, I just really cannot take that lie, and then still have a room for me to really understanding what it is. So I'm questioning that as an awareness sharing. So if you're interested in, please join me and share about what do you think about that lies. And then actually I got new idea, new way to look at that particular element of lie since the last time I share as a part 1. So stay tuned for the part 2. I think it's coming this weekend after the new moon. So express truthful, that energy, holding the energy for expressing, communicating is a healthy way, is to truthfully communicate authentically choosing the word, artificial word is like smelly. Is that a artificial aroma or authentic, organic, natural feel? That's that communicating with the world around us. How you're gonna hold the energy really does matter to you know express. So that's that good reminder. And then third eye, indigo, which is the sixth energy center, but the perception, intuition, logics, intellect. That combination of the how you're going to hold the energy, healthy way, is that insight, wisdom, and what is this? Um, can I read what I wrote here? Handwriting. Let's see. Wisdom and source. Oh, reliable resource. Insight, wisdom, reliable resource. Mm. So the way to hold that energy is about the brain. It's the information capturing center. We see, we hear, we think, and we sense, and we imagine, we feel. Um, so these information, what is reliable wisdom, intellect? Some to me, my personally, is like the memories and knowledge, and this information is based on the journey so far up to here, and that is portion of the information based on so far. But we are always cutting the edge of the physical experience, all of us. And the future, perhaps there's a repeating energetic pattern. So we can identify the repeating pattern and then predict the repeating pattern. That's one way, based on the past. But sometimes it's that the other element of the future is like it's a future, so perhaps it's not repeating. From which vantage point we're going to look for that? We find it if you intend to look for it, but being open to something that unknown, which is as an intuitive insight. Here's the thing that when I started to practice my conscious use of intuition, the practical conscious use of intuition, yeah, that's one way. Conscious use of intuition, a practical way of using the conscious intuition and to get an insight. And then I realized that my intuition is really work or guided from the future oriented type of information. And some people are really good at digging into the past and past life and then, that relatedness. But to me, seems like a future naturally related to that. And so when I interpreted that information I'm getting intuitively based on that, um, knowledge or experiences, and then that misinterpreting or limiting the information. So, and that is actually scary because I came from the marketing background, which is about past experiences, numbers, and then come up with the prediction, as an not the prediction, but the plan for the next budgeting or something. So playing safe, of course. I mean, that's what corporate environment I came from. And then being open to that unknown, like, what? Intuitive information is like, what? How am I going to deliver this to making sense? So I need to figure out and then establish some new way of practical delivery. And then what I learned is that. Being open to this ridiculous seems like a ridiculous because never experienced yet, but that's future, so that is also happening, you know. And then admit that is also one way, a new way, and then bring that information as a useful information on top of traditional way to whatever to decide or to discuss about. And so it's really important to being open to it. No need to 120% committing or trusting or anything, just as another information on top of the traditional way. And then more information gives us a power to choose what is really like resonating. So what I'm saying is that wisdom and then also the insight, which is like your knowledge, also the wisdom, also, and then also the intuitive hunches is it can be useful. So that openness, that's the way we like to hold the energy. It might be a good way to hold the energy, like being it's the past experienced traditional way, and then also your intuitive senses bringing useful information. Oh, by the way, that intuition, I believe that that's a human gift, and each one of us has an intuitive sensor and use it all the time, unconsciously, subconsciously. So the training to use that part unconsciously, that's what I've been trained and practicing over a decade. And that actually very reliable. So that's just things to add on that. And kimochi with the crown chakra, the seventh energy center, color purple. Purple. It's about consciousness, life, divine self. So the way to hold the energy is connecting to divine self. So something more than we are more than our physical body. As we said that this is my hand, this is my head, this is my shoulders, means like I own this physical, right? All this skin, my skin, and my organ underneath of my skin. These are the element that I own in physical presence. It's getting maturing and changing shapes and forms, but that's the I have an ownership. And then where am I? That's a good question, right? And uh, and I am physically located, my physical body is here in Japan at the moment, but that's my body and I own that. Where is the owner me located? Sometimes it's like a spirit not in my body and then somewhere. And it's a connection, right? So you can go to remote, not the remote work, but remote working physical, remote enjoying like remotely connecting over apps and then Twitters and Twitch, remote connecting. So remote viewing, remote laughing. Hi, thanks for stopping by. And so that's a something that we are connected to divine or higher self, if you like to use that word, the crown chakra, more cosmic energy. with the cosmos point of view, that we are the residents of the earth, and geographically located on some part of Mother Earth, and we need oxygen. Physical body need to feed with the nutritious energy, and then so forth, and then love to feed our spirit. So that human beingness and kimochi. So how are you going to hold the energy related to this cosmic energy, cosmic part of our consciousness? The conscious observer behind our physical eyeballs observing. We can observe our own physical presence with the some point of view, and that part is connecting to something holy, or holy might be a word, or something larger than our physical body or presence itself. So that's a good reminder to have that healthy feeding. How you're gonna hold that energy to ourself, the connection, to being part of the cosmic community's member. You know, that is true. Actually, the Mother Earth itself is the part of the cosmic. So we are that, and that way to hold the energy might be helpful to feeding healthy and healthy mind, and to support our well-being on everyday life, even that to challenged by obstacles, roadblocks, and bumps, and tsunamis, and challenges. And every time we get that, we come up with some idea, or come up with some new way to connect with, to make our society stronger, healthier, hopefully. Um, and then the technology too. This 30 years ago was none, actually, that talking about the technology 30 years ago, that I was involving the internet, I think, the 30 years ago, means that, yeah, it's about internet started to happening. It's like a dial-up connection, and in the States, that America Online started to distribute the free. It's the floppy disk. It's the history, but floppy disk, to give out the disk, and then when you stuck into the computer, and then automatically you can sign up for a network connection with the telephone landline's socket. It feels like a very dinosaur. But that was about the 30 years ago, I think. And then it's very hard to imagine, even know how the technology is going to change. But it's really appreciated to be able to connect with you wherever you're located, and on planet Earth. Even it's in the space, we can now connect. So that, thanks for technology to make that connection more closer and possible. But on the other hand, there's always a coin's front and back. So we must deal with the positive side and negative side to change it, make it better. And I guess that's continuously happen as long as our life goes on. And that's what the life is. And then human life on with this physical body is there is a limit. The infinite love and light, but our life has an attention is has a limit. So let us use the attention wisely. And when we give attention, energy flows. So when we are giving attention to something ideal, enjoyable, and then energy, who knows. But it's challenging to being part of the news lately because we got to survive, so we need to be alerted what's happening. That's one way, but it just take a balance. I'm talking to myself, but balancing out the informations, and then just find a way how you're gonna give your attention to something enjoyable to you, your spirit, nurturing your spirit, maybe eating comfort food, slow food, even if you are under strict diet, for example. That sometimes it's important to nurture in your soul with food or dancing or singing or playing music or painting, whatever, like doing the sport, something that will make you really feel alive. And reminding here is that kimochi, energy, hold the energy, good energy to hold our beingness is the core essence of our well-being. And then there is a golden rule that to do that for self and to share with others, it's the ideal to extend, expand as a human gift to support one another. And then good to include it, not excluding. And to hurting something is not gonna work. It's the hurting others and it's hurting self. So that's the golden rule to including and this and find a way to enjoy. I'm just telling to myself. So thank you for joining and listening today's energy wisdom for wellness is kimochi, energy. How you're gonna have your own energy to maintain and boost your aliveness, wellness. Okay. Well, thanks for listening and joining. So, well, thank you for leaving the heart and retweet from Twitter, Joanna. I truly appreciate that. Um, I feel really being supported and connected, and hope to see you live sometimes. All right. Well, thanks for joining. I see you when I see you. You have a wonderful rest of the week, night, day. Bye.